I arrived at my parents' house as they yelled at my 6-year-old daughter, "Wash the dishes properly, useless girl," while my sister's daughters laughed, so I canceled their house payments and the bank auctioned it. I'm Esteban, 34, and my life revolves around Sofia, my daughter. I adopted her at 2, and the moment I saw her, big eyes, shy laugh, tiny hand gripping my finger, she became my world. She may not share my blood, but she's my daughter in every way. Not everyone in my family feels the same. My parents, Ramiro and Cecilia, never fully accepted Sofia. When I told them I was adopting her, their faces soured. "Why not find a wife and have your own kids?" Mom said, as if Sofia were a mistake, a whim. Dad was blunter. "She's not our blood, Esteban. It's not the same." Those words cut like knives, but I ignored them, thinking time would soften their hearts, that they'd see the angel Sofia is. I was wrong. Still, I tried keeping a decent relationship with them, not for me but because I believed family should stay united. My parents were struggling financially. A few years ago they lost their jobs. Dad's factory closed, and Mom, a former secretary, never found stable work again. They asked for help, and as a dutiful son I agreed. I started paying part of their mortgage on their old but spacious house, where I grew up with my sister Clara. It wasn't cheap, but as a construction engineer with a good job, I could afford it. Each month, I transferred a hefty sum to keep them from losing their home. It was my way of helping, though I always felt they didn't value it enough. Clara, my younger sister, has 2 daughters, Valeria and Camila, aged 7 and 5. They're the queens of my parents' house. Whenever they visit, Ramiro and Cecilia dote on them, buying toys, spoiling them, taking them to the park. I'm fine with that. I'm glad my nieces are happy. But I always noticed Sofia was treated differently. When the 3 girls were together at my parents' house, they barely paid her attention, sometimes excluding her from games or activities. I let it slide, convincing myself it was my imagination, that they didn't mean to slight her. I wanted to believe they were just clumsy grandparents, not cruel. One day, I decided Sofia should spend more time with her cousins. I wanted them to grow up close like Clara and I did. Sofia's a sweet girl, always smiling, eager to make friends. I thought a day playing with Valeria and Camila at my parents' would strengthen their bond. I had a big work meeting, so leaving Sofia with them seemed perfect. I told them to watch her, let her play with her cousins, and stressed I'd be back in a few hours. "Don't worry, Esteban," Mom said with a smile that in hindsight feels fake. "She'll be fine." That morning, I dropped Sofia off, her pink backpack stuffed with toys, her smile wide. "I'm gonna play with my cousins, Poppy," she said. I kissed her forehead, promising to return after work, and left, trusting all would be well. How naive. Work dragged on. The meeting ran late, and it was nearly dark when I finished. I drove to my parents' house, eager to hear Sofia's stories about her fun day. But something felt off. The front door was ajar, and I heard harsh voices. Mom's angry. "Wash those dishes properly, useless girl, they're still dirty." I froze. Who was she yelling at? I slipped inside quietly, and what I saw shattered my heart. Sofia, my 6-year-old Sofia, stood on a wooden crate in the kitchen, hands in soapy water, struggling with dishes. Her little arms barely reached, her face red, tears streaming as she sobbed, trying to scrub a plate she could hardly hold. Meanwhile, Valeria and Camila, Clara's daughters, giggled, holding toys, playing while my parents forced Sofia to do chores. "What's going on?" I roared, storming into the kitchen. Sofia looked up, ran to me and hugged me tightly, her wet hands trembling. "Poppy, I'm sorry, I don't know how to wash dishes right," she sobbed into my chest. A rage I'd never felt consumed me like something inside broke. "Why is Sofia washing dishes?" I demanded, glaring at my parents. "Why is she slaving here while Valeria and Camila mock her?" Mom stepped forward with her, "It's not a big deal," face. "Esteban, calm down. We're just teaching her to be useful. It's good for her to learn young, right? You're overreacting." "Overreacting?" I echoed, incredulous. "She's 6, she should be playing with her cousins, not scrubbing dishes she can't even reach while you yell useless at her. What's wrong with you?" Dad, silent until then, spoke up. "Look, Esteban, it's not a big deal. We just asked her to help a bit." Clara's girls don't have to because, well, there are real grandkids. That hit like a punch. Real? I said, voice low with contempt. So Sophia's not real to you, that's why you treat her like garbage, because she's adopted. Mom tried to backpedal. That's not what we meant, Esteban. We just want her to be responsible, not treated badly. Her words rang hollow, false. Sophia clung to me, trembling, and all I could think was getting her out. You don't love her, I said, staring them down. You never have. You've always treated her differently, and now this. Making her wash dishes while spoiling Clara's kids. What kind of grandparents do that? Dad raised his voice. Don't go too far, Esteban. This is our house, our rules. If you don't like it, take the girl and go. That was all I needed. I scooped up Sophia, grabbed her backpack, and left without looking back. Mom shouted, "Don't overreact, Esteban, come back." But I didn't. I couldn't, not after what they did to my daughter. On the drive home, Sophia was quiet, staring out the window. I tried talking, asking how she was, but she answered in monosyllables. "Poppy, why don't my grandparents love me?" she asked, and my world crumbled. How do you explain to a 6-year-old that the people who should love her reject her for something as stupid as blood? They don't know what they're missing, little one, I said, trying to sound strong while breaking inside. You're the best thing that's happened to me, and I love you with all my heart. That's what matters. That night, after tucking Sophia in, I sat with a beer, rage unabated. I recalled every snide comment about Sophia, every time they sidelined her while pampering Valeria and Camila, every mortgage payment, every bill I covered. I decided I was done helping them. If they couldn't love Sophia as she deserved, they didn't deserve my support. I called the bank and canceled their mortgage payments and monthly aid. The next weeks were tough. Sophia was traumatized, quieter than usual, drawing endlessly, her spark dimmed. After work, I brought toys, anything to cheer her. Weekends, we hit the park, got her favorite ice cream, but nothing fully worked. She stayed sad, silent. Weeks later, my phone buzzed while I cooked dinner. Sophia was coloring in the living room, humming a school song. It was Dad, Ramiro. I hesitated but answered, hoping they'd apologize for hurting Sophia. Esteban, his voice was tense, desperate. The bank sent a letter. The mortgage payments are late. What happened? You always paid them. A hint of reproach, like I owed them while they crushed Sophia's spirit. I paused, rage reigniting. Pay it yourselves, I said, colder than I expected. I'm not giving you another cent. Mom gasped in the background, clearly on speaker. Son, you can't do this, she cried. It's our house where you grew up. We're jobless, you know that. Don't be so cruel. Her tears sounded fake, manipulative. Cruel? I snapped, gripping the phone. Cruel is yelling useless at a 6-year-old, making her scrub dishes she can't reach, making her feel worthless while spoiling Clara's kids. Tell me, Mom, who's cruel? Silence. I pictured them in their living room, scrambling for excuses. Dad finally spoke, authoritative. Esteban, you're blowing this out of proportion. We just asked her to help. It's not a big deal. Kids need to learn to be useful. Useful? I nearly shouted, lowering my voice for Sophia's sake. She's not your maid. She's my daughter, and you humiliated her, made her cry, treated her like she's not family because she's adopted. Did you think I wouldn't notice how you ignored her, showered Valeria and Camila with toys? I'm done helping people who treat my daughter like trash. It's not like that, Mom pleaded. We were teaching responsibility. We don't hate her, it's just, Clara's girls are our blood grandkids. It's different. That word, different, cut deep. Different, I repeated, throat tight. There's no difference to me. Sophia's my daughter, and I love her more than anything. But to you, she'll never be enough, just the adopted one, the one who doesn't count. Well, it's over. Stay away from her, and I'm done paying for you. Figure it out. I hung up before they could reply, hands shaking, and blocked their numbers, knowing they'd try again with empty pleas. They'd crossed a line and I wouldn't forgive. Weeks later, Clara called, voice trembling with fury. Esteban, how could you? She started, no greeting. They evicted Mom and Dad. The bank auctioned the house. They're on the street because of you. How could you do this to our parents? I sat on the couch, watching Sophia build a block tower on the rug, her soft laugh giving me strength. "It's not my fault," I said, calm but firm. "They chose to treat my daughter like she wasn't family. They humiliated her, Clara, made her wash dishes while your girls played with new toys, called her useless, made her cry. And you expect me to keep paying their mortgage like nothing happened? It's not my job to support people who don't respect Sophia." Clara paused, then exploded. "You're selfish over a silly thing. Mom and Dad have nowhere to go, Esteban. Don't you care? They're our parents, for God's sake, all because Sophia washed some dishes? You're exaggerating." "Exaggerating?" I said, rage rising. "It's not just dishes, Clara. They treated her like a servant, worthless, while your daughters were princesses. Sophia asked me that night, 'Poppy, why don't my grandparents love me?' Can you imagine how that felt? No, I'm not exaggerating. They crossed a line, and I won't support people who hurt my daughter." "But you can't leave them homeless," Clara softened, pleading. "They're our parents. They're jobless, have nothing. What'll they do? If you care so much, help them yourself." I cut her off. "I did enough, years of mortgage payments, bills because they asked. No more. I won't prop up people who disrespect Sophia. Period." I hung up, ignoring her follow-up calls. I was done arguing. Sophia was my priority, and no one, not even family, would make me waver. Soon after, my parents showed up at my door. It was a gray afternoon, clouds heavy with rain. Sophia was on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, watching cartoons. The doorbell rang. I expected the pizza delivery. Instead, there stood Ramiro and Cecilia, clothes wrinkled, eyes bagged, defeated in a way I'd never seen. "Esteban, please," Mom started, voice shaky. "We've nowhere to go. The bank took the house. Let us stay just until we find something." Dad, always proud, barely met my eyes, hands trembling as he clutched a plastic bag of belongings. "Son, we didn't mean it to go this far," he mumbled. "What happened with Sophia was a mistake. We didn't mean to hurt her." I glanced at Sophia, oblivious to the scene, and saw her tear-streaked face from that day, her tiny hands struggling with dishes, her sobs trying to please grandparents who never truly loved her. "A mistake," I said, voice low with contempt. "You humiliated her, made her feel worthless, yelled at her, treated her like a maid while spoiling Clara's kids. Now you're here begging for help? No, you don't get to be near her. Leave." "Esteban, please," Mom sobbed. "We're your family. We can't be on the street. What'll we do?" "You made it clear Sophia isn't your family," I said, unyielding. "If she's not, neither am I. Find help elsewhere, not here, not where my daughter lives, who you hurt without a second thought." I shut the door, ignoring Mom's cries and Dad's murmurs. My heart raced, a knot in my stomach. They were my parents after all. But Sophia's smile from the couch confirmed I'd done right. They'd chosen their path. I chose to protect my daughter. Days later, Sophia started opening up. She'd been quieter since that day, and I poured love into her, games, happy moments, to heal her pain. One night, reading her a bedtime story, she looked at me with those big, bright eyes and said, "Poppy, I forgive my grandparents. I don't want to be sad about them." I was speechless. How could a 6-year-old have such a big heart? I hugged her tightly, tears in my eyes, vowing no one would hurt her again. Her smile returned slowly, and I worked daily to restore her spark. She was my angel, and I'd do anything to protect her. I haven't seen my parents since. Clara said they're in a small rented room, but I feel no pity. They brought this on themselves. Though Sophia forgave them, I haven't. I never will.